Pounders, welcome back. Tonight we're going to be covering episode 10 of The Big Board. And we're going to start off with a little topic of this range from like 140 to about the Wandell ADP. This is something I was going over with the Pounders Plus, just all the Patreon members actually in general. It was Ladd McConkey, Worthy, this Kendra ADP, who's been skyrocketing up. We had him ranked in the green to start off. Same thing with Jaleel. He's been rocketing up. But I really want to focus on Ladd, Worthy, Michael Wilson, and Wandale. The RBs are there just to see the range. But when we think about the combine, the NFL draft, we don't know where some of these guys are going to land. Where can we make projections to give us the biggest advantage? And one of those, for me, I'm trying to find a way to mix in Worthy and McConkey, right? And I do love these RBs. And now that Kendre, I have near 50% Kendre when you add in the little board and the big board. Now that Kendre is sometimes gone, now it's like, okay, now I can start to actually maybe divert to different picks. And one of those picks that feels safe right now, but might not be the best pick is Michael Wilson. And one of those reasons being is when you think about where Marvin Harrison Jr.'s landing spots are, Arizona is a big one. Now, the pick feels safe, right? Marvin Harrison Jr. goes there. You already have Trey McBride, who's going to be the number 2 target. This will push back Michael Wilson to the 3rd favorite target. And where you can get Wandale about 11, 10 picks later, I don't think that same risk is there. Unless you're assuming Darren Waller is going to be healthy. And then his ADP is going to be pretty free. But obviously, if a wide receiver 1 comes into the Giants, I think that's okay. Like Wandale at pick 159 is going to be fine. But when you kind of calculate Michael Wilson, if you're going to go receiver here, is it worth just going Ladd? Is it worth just going Xavier Worthy with the unknown of where these guys are going to land, right? That's going to be a telltale, whether they're going to be successful or not. The landing spot matters so much. But I like these 2 pieces, and I've now kind of opened my mind into adding them and getting away from that safe click that might not have the highest upside. And for me, I think that's Michael Wilson. I think he has a chance to be a faller in this range. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys are just joining us, go down, slap the like on the live stream. Hit the sub if you guys are new to the channel. Thank you guys for coming out early. Look at this. All the Pounders in the chat. Alex, Solo, what's up, my man? And Charles, Pounder season. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to top the 50K cash that Bry had last year in the Chow, but we are going to shoot for it. That is absolutely certain. And then when you go later into the rounds, right, you get deeper into these ADPs. We had another conversation about like Darnell Mooney, right? And my thoughts on Darnell Mooney at pick 230 ADP versus, let's say, like a rookie like Burton, who the Pounders pretty high on, minus Adam because of character reference, but pretty high on him. The thing I do like about Mooney is you can pretty much project him to be a safe wide receiver 3 on a team. He doesn't have to go be a wide receiver 2, so maybe he doesn't have the same upside, but I do think there is a security blanket behind having Mooney. Maybe you have a lot of rookies already on your team. I think Mooney could be a nice click to sort of round out a roster. And he's a couple seasons away from 1,000 yards, right? Not the best situation for Chicago last year, so it's hard to really look into it too much. But he's a free agent. He has just as good of a chance to land in KC, in Buffalo, where everyone's trying to find, that rookie or free agent that's going to land there. Hashtag why not Mooney? Not going to be able to demand a lot of money. So these teams that are tight on cap space could be a target. And again, he just has to go in and be the third favorite target, and you're getting him at pick 230. I do like Javon Baker. I do like Ricky. I am at like 27% Ricky. And he's been rising slowly but surely. People are getting a little more sharp on him. Burton is a name you're going to hear a lot more. Could be surprising the amount of draft capital that he gets. And yeah, I think that's a pretty good starting point. Fellas, let's jump into it. Please tell me I do not have a back end pick. Let's go. Pick 4, it's a miracle. Our luck is turning. Our luck is turning. Yes, I feel good about a top 4 pick right now. It's disgusting. This is what our life has become. We have 2% McCaffrey, 2% Lamb. So it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Finally, I will not end up with DJ Moore. Finally. Shout out to Logan in the 9 spot, Frank in the 6. Who else is here? I saw another couple pounders. I think Cheese 24 Skull is in the live stream. And we have Josh here, 1, stealing. Absolutely stealing the Influencer 101. And that's what you get. I've only been taking Wilson if I get Kyler. And I think this is a good point too. But again, I still think it's like the safe click. I don't know if it's the highest upside. I think it's okay with Kyler. I will say it feels a lot better when you have Kyler. If you're betting on that offense, let's go Chase here. Just based on my exposures, I need to get more. I need to get more Chase. All right, and we're off. Let's zoom this out a little bit. Fit the whole board. Briscoe's at 5. Frank gets a little gift here. Frank gets a little gift. Patreon membership just paying off. Actually, YouTube membership, I should say. Hashtag spoon. Pick 2. Charles is in the 2 spot. I was going to say, this name's familiar. It's Charles. A few badgeless people. Logan, that badge has to be coming soon, man. You've been grinding. Bijan's another one that I have a high percent of just because of the percent back end drafts I'm doing from 9 to 12 is insane. But again, it's only through about 50 drafts. So it's early. It's early. We're saving all those 101, 102s for the BBM 5. That's when we're going to cash in. Oh my God. I don't know if this is a place, but if it is, we should advertise there. We should definitely advertise there. Michael Thomas isn't someone that I'm mixing in right now. It'll be interesting to see where he lands, though. Maybe we're missing something there, but I feel like there's higher upside bets to be made. Guess it depends on your roster too, though. Just not someone I'm clicking right now. Little Gibbs JT start, double RB. Wilson Kyron. Nothing too fancy here on the back end. You got Puka at 10. AJ Brown goes in the 8 spot. Nico at 15. So nothing too different right now. DJ Moore. But Bijan, I have so much Bijan, DJ Moore. It's funny because when I share my exposures with the YouTube memberships, with the Patreon members, they look at it and they see like 30% DJ Moore. I'm like, guys, you don't understand. Like, don't read too much into that. I still would like to be above field, I guess, because I'm going a decent amount of Bijan here. And it does feel bad to not have a receiver through 2 rounds. Like, we'll see how this team turns out. If he doesn't go like 3 wide receivers in a row or 3 wide receivers in the next 4 rounds, it starts to look bad. And then you can't scoop a value, right? Like if a player falls to a 35 that you absolutely would love to have, it's an RB. It does make it tougher. All right. Interesting spot. We will go Ayuk here. And then we're up in 6 picks. 3 stacks in the 3 spot. This guy might be on auto. I think this one was a timeout. So if both of these go down to Triple zeros. Okay, he's there. He's there. Wake him up. Wake him up. Where's Garcia at, dude? This is the reason why we didn't draft 2 nights ago. He was on all day long. We need more badges on Underdog ASAP. You know, sometimes those badges rooms are nuts. If you're not paying attention, 2 people have 4 QBs, 5 tight ends. You can get stuck. And that's why it's tough to do, for me at least, it's tough to do like 5 tables at once. I can do 3 or 4. But after 4, I start to lose track of like each room, how the individual people are drafting. Laporta here's fine. DK's fine. Pittman's okay. I like Waddle too. I wouldn't mind bringing Waddle into this conversation. Maybe get a little different pairing than these guys. You know, the field's going to have a lot of this combination. I think reaching up a few picks to Waddles could be sharp. Get a little different. Ooh. Oh. Okay. Double QB, RB, first pick. If this isn't a wide receiver, this is going to be interesting. So obviously, Waddle opens up QB too, right? Like we have Purdy, Burrow's in play, Tua is in play. Solo likes to start. This is a lot right here. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Oh yeah, no, I 100% agree with this. It feels like it wouldn't be that hard to invest like 3 hours, a 3-hour meeting, be like, all right, what do you have for badge ideas? What do you have? I feel like there's room. There's definitely room to grow there in an easy way too, right? If you have like a 10,000 draft badge, like wouldn't that just incentivize people to draft more? Just seems like a good business idea. I don't know. Then there's other fun ways to do it. Different horns for, or different whatever. Horns, for example, like for different tournaments. Like if it's a 3-person draft versus a 6-person draft, it's much more impressive if you win a 6-person or a 12-person, a tournament versus battle royale, all that. I think those should have different shit. I don't know what we would do. Maybe like a dog collar, big medallion on it. Pacheco slides to 45. I don't click a lot of Pacheco, but this doesn't actually seem like a bad spot to start mixing him in, especially if I'm not, because for me it's like this. But having a 3 wide receiver start, having a little slide on Pacheco, we'll mix him in here. This is like one of those like randomizers for poker players. Like, all right, 1 out of, every 5 times or 1 out of every 10 times I'm going to raise here. Like that's the Pacheco click right now. Higgins off the board, Stroud off the board. I find it difficult to build a Stroud team and like it, but I do like this start for Cheese. So we'll see how this team ends up. Pick 52. What's nice about this is we can still get a wide receiver of our choice that we like. 3 stacks. Let's see if he actually ends up with 3 stacks, because I think you are allowed to make fun of him if he only has 2 stacks. I don't mind the McBride click there. I think this is Ridley all the way, though. It does feel good to get 4 wide receivers before, basically before Godwin's off the board. It's going to open us up to go QB, running back, or tight end in the next 2 picks, which is like the sweet spot. The sweet spot. And maybe not even for RB. For RB, I think there's a lot of misses. I think there's a lot of misses in this bunch, but for tight end and QB, there's some easy clicks in there. I think Burrow should fall to us basically at ADP too. 69. His ADP 70. We have Chase. Where's the Higgins team? Not that I think he returns, but okay, the Higgins team is to our left too. So, I mean, we should get Burrow, but this team to our right has 3 running backs and 2 QBs. So, uh, yeah, just be ready to. We're already ready to hurt, and that's fine. We have a lot of backup plays at QB, which is nice. We're going to be the team with 3 stacks. It's going to be us. Yeah, this is definitely a name that, honestly, at this point, I don't even mind if someone picks me off him because let me tell you what we're at. It's pretty high. 33% Aaron Jones. Derrick Henry. And honestly, I don't even hate the Henry click. I think what his role is going to be as a free agent on a new team would be to pound it into the end zone. I mean, as long as he doesn't like, would the Giants bring him in? You know, there's some like bad landing spots, but I don't think they really make sense for Henry, which is a good thing for him. I think he ends up on a semi contender at least. I think another mediocre spot might be like the Vikings. He brings in Aaron Jones. I like to start 4 receivers, hits Henry and Aaron Jones. Right now, I don't. Right now, I don't. Um, I'm really just trying to exploit who I think risers and fallers are going to be. And I think we did a really good job with that so far with the draft guide based on who we have ranked where. And it's nice and easy to read too. It's just these players they're in red, yellow, or green based on their ADP and their range. And we've hit on a very high percent of risers and fallers. Godwin here would be nice. I'm not really clicking Kittle here. Yeah, Godwin's gone. Dude, this guy brings in his first receiver. We have an easy click with Burrow. We had to go Burrow there no matter what, but we'll see who comes back around. I'm sort of skipping Chubb. I'm sort of skipping Montgomery. Like, sure, he had a good start to the year, but as they got Gibbs more involved, Montgomery became like a 12 to 13 touch type player, which for this range, not really interested in. Like you have Stevenson, who could just be the clear RB1 on his team. Sure, it's it's New England. They're not going to be in the red zone as much, but uh, it shouldn't be as ugly as last year, especially if they bring in a QB at 3. Purdy off the board to the Kittle CMC team. I like Brian Thomas in this range, but I find it tough to click him just based on the other people going in this range. Bowers is gone, right? Yeah. We can go Ingram. We'll have a double in Jacksonville. ADP 100. So we should get T-Law to fall back to us. Where's the Kirk team, though? Be to our left. Be to our left. He's not going to be. Oh, shit. He can go Kirk here at 10. I mean, I'm sorry. Trevor Lawrence here at 103 to pair with Kirk, which would make sense for him. But we have a backup option in Tua at 104 as well to go with Waddle. So hopefully one of those 2 fall, and that's sort of what I'm thinking right now with this build. Yeah, I do think Chase is a solid candidate for a bounce back season, and even more to do with Burrow, not as much with Chase himself. You know, Burrow got hurt like 2 weeks before the season started. He returned early. I think you can project Burrow to have a better start to the season, and Chase, He was less consistent with the backup QB, but he still had some spike weeks. So yeah, Chase, the talent is undoubtedly there. I think you could put Chase at 3 if you wanted. I've been going back and forth. I'm trying to keep my exposure basically even with JJ and Jamar Chase. I wouldn't mind if my Chase exposure was a little higher than Jefferson, just because of QB situation is unknown right now. And that take could change, but that's the way I see it right now. I think you can give the bump to Chase. And then this ADP for Burrow is such a nice discount. Like, honestly, Burrow at 70 or Stroud at 47. Like, give me Burrow at 70. Give me Burrow at 70. And we'll see what happens with wide receiver. Higgins, Boyd, both free agents. We'll see what goes on there. But this is a team that should want to contend every single year, right? You have Burrow, you have the guy. They should try to bring in people to make him successful. So, and it's a good year for rookie wide receiver. So maybe they go that route. Brian Robinson off the board at 86. We did get a little slide on these RBs, except for Robinson goes a little early, but Nick Chubb at 84. He falls about 15 picks, and Eckler at 85 also falls about 11 picks. This guy just scoops them both, which I don't know if he could afford to do necessarily. I know it's dry at wide receiver here, right? It's completely dry. And that's where it's tough to go this type of balance build, right? You go receiver, running back, QB, tight end. You bring in another receiver. This probably should have been another receiver just because of, an early QB and early tight end. I think this is the mistake pick because now you get 2 falling values to you. You're in the wide receiver, like absolute wide receiver dead zone, not because there's bad wide receivers there, but because there's no wide receivers there. So inexperience can sort of do this to you. And you have to know 84 coming back around. I think you're like lucky if Watson is there. Mixon off the board would have been pretty nice if he fell back to us at 93. That would have been a gift. I wouldn't necessarily mind a few people here, I guess. I'm cool with. Okay, if we go. We should take Drake Fergie off the board. If we hit RB here, we're just basically trying to get one of these 2 QBs. We have a little correlation with Waddle here. Let's bring in, Jake Fergie gone. Let's bring in Mostert first. We have the Kirk team to our right, so he actually passes on QB with both picks. $117. We're not pushing. We're not going to push either of these guys. We have to go QB next. And then I like our situation a lot. Yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. This guy knows what he's doing. But to go back to this, right now, I don't care about what my percent is to players, especially only about 35 drafts in. I'll start to balance it maybe when I get to around half. Maybe when I get 75 drafts in, I'll start to balance it. But it's really based on where these players are going. Ooh, okay. He goes Tua. I'm actually happy with that. We'll go T-Law. We have the double stack. Mostert isn't he's not the best to pair with Tua because he's not catching that many passes. This is fun. Let's go. Pretty balanced start. So like whoever comes back to us, if we have someone that falls to us that we like, we can pick them. Doesn't matter the position. You could go with third QB with this build as well in a 20-round draft. And we might decide to do that too. But right now with our build, we don't have anyone on a team that maybe like a rookie QB could sign to, right? Like we don't have anyone on like Atlanta, the Giants right now. So a third QB, I'm not looking too much into right now. Just sort of what goes through my head with these guys. But it is fun to draft like Bijan, London, Pitts, and be like, all right, let's guess what QB lands in Atlanta. You know what I mean? And trying to hit that triple stack. Troy Franklin, someone that I'm clicking on a lot that Nick and I covered. Kyle Pitts at 104. I'm starting to click a lot more Kyle Pitts as of late. And we'll just sort of, it's the gamble. It's an absolute gamble. We'll see who ends up there at QB, but I think it's a fun gamble. It's never been, in my opinion, it's never been Kyle Pitts' fault. Like last year, like the Jonnu Smith schemes. Come on. Come on. And the worst part is like they were good. Like they were actually pretty good schemes. He was leading up, he was having like screens go for tutties, and you hated it if you're a Kyle Pitts truther. And I hated him at his ADP last year, but early into the year it was better before he got steamed up. Maybe that happens again. I could see that happening with Kyle Pitts based on which QB lands there, to be honest. Gamblestein, welcome to the live stream, my man. Charles says, I think this is my first Stroud click. Definitely paying a premium is probably his ceiling where he goes now. I agree with that, but I don't mind bringing him in where you have Tank Dell, and you need Stroud to hit for Tank Dell to pay off this ADP as well. So it's correlating takes. Come out off the board. I don't mind the Coleman click. A lot of people don't like him, but I think I'm bringing in the second tight end here, and Schultz. I think he lands back in Houston, and I do have a tier break after Schultz is off the board. So we'll bring in our second tight end, and I'm not in love with any one of these guys. Like, do you guys think, if you guys are watching this afterwards, let me know in the comments. If you're watching it now, let me know. Do you think Carolina brings in another running back? Can they afford to bring in another running back? Having Miles Sanders there too? And then Miles Sanders becomes the handcuff to a team with a terrible O-line, but you're expecting them to touch at O-line. Like, at least maybe not for their running backs, but for at least their QB, their rookie QB. You gotta protect this man. Maybe give him 0.3 seconds to throw instead of 0.2. Just a little more time. Yeah, Logan thinks they bring in another RB. I think they would too. It's not the best class though. That's like, it's not the most threatening class. We are going to be thin at wide receiver here, which could be fun. Fuck. I did want the Rojo click. All right. We can either go Jerome Ford here, or I don't even mind steaming up Kendry Miller. It allows us to go 3 players in the same range, which is just sort of big brain. Let's go Jerome Ford. Dotson clicks fine there too, but I have an idea. Let's see. I don't think so. Here's the thing. Like, I don't think Kendra is coming back to me at 139, right? So if I skip on Jerome Ford, I go receiver here like Jahan Dotson. I don't know if I'm going to have a running back that comes back to me at 141 that I like because Frank, because of Frank. But we'll see. If Jaleel or Miller or Herbert come back to me, I would probably rather the flip than what I did. But if they're gone, then I'm going to prefer what I did. So we'll see what happens. Wicks off the board, and Wicks seems like this price is ludicrous in my opinion. I don't think I'm going to end up with much Wicks this year, and I am just completely okay with it. Especially where people are drafting Christian Watson. How are all three of these guys going to hit? Watson, Reed, Wicks. He doubles up, or I should say doubles down on that take, and he brings in the triple stack. I like it. Now I like it. If you're going to go Love, I think that's fine. Kendrick. Kendrick goes at 136. I could see like Audric Estimate ending up in like the Giants, and then he'd be someone I would I'd be mad I didn't draft enough of. All right, let's see what we're gonna do. Now we're in the ring. Now we're boxing. Worthy gone. This guy to our left right now, the 3-5-3 build. Okay. Let's bring in Lad. I've been doing a lot of Gabe Davis here too. Let's bring in Lad here. Let's make the Pounders happy. Up in 4 picks. Herbert off the board. Oh, dude, Josh has 7 receivers right now. Gonna fall behind at QB or tight end. He goes Pat Fry. I agree with that. Oh, Drake May gone. Okay, one of our guys that we're thinking about bringing in. We don't need to go a third QB here, but Quentin Johnson gone. Okay, I think we just go Jaleel. Could go Waller, could go Mayer, could go Mitchell, could go Wandale. Let's bring in Jaleel here. Super balanced still. Darren Waller off the board. We do need a third tight end at some point. If Ladd and Worthy were both there, I was going to double click both of them, to be honest. Okay. Mitchell off the board. Rodgers off the board at 151. Is this his second QB? I don't think he has any stacks. He has Goff and Amon-Ra, but he doesn't have stacks with Rodgers, which you can get like late stacks like Conklin. You can get real sneaky and go like Israel Abanikanda. Cade Otton off the board. We'll see. Cade, I think Cade's getting a small boost just because of the Mike Evans uncertainty if he returns. Like obviously Cade Otton would get a relatively big bump if Mike Evans were to move on. I would think there's like a 15% chance Evans leaves though. I think it's low. Wilson off the board at 155. Josh, I'm a Gabe Davis apologist, but I love Ladd. That's good to know. I don't think it's the craziest of takes to go Ladd over McConkey. Like we sort of know what Gabe Davis is. Wow, Kate Dobbins at 159. Steam him up. Steam him up. Sheesh. Logan almost goes down to triple zeros, brings in Douglas. Wandell's gone. Geno Smith off the board. I know what I want to do. Let's see if Frank lets us do it. Yeah, I knew that click was coming. I don't mind Mayor here. I think we should be clicking him when he falls this far. 12 picks. For me, it's between Mayor or Sanders, right? It's between Mayor or Sanders here. Let's bring in Mayor. We're getting the fall on him. If he's not there, we're going Sanders in this spot though. At 165. I think it's a good ADP to steam him up over these guys. Dude, that clock will creep up on you, man. That clock will creep up on you. But guys, if you just joined us, go down, slap the like. We are trying to reach our next goal of 1,200 sub-a-dubbas. I appreciate it greatly. Curtis Samuel off the board. Sanders off the board. I love the Curtis Samuel click. I'm glad he's gone. I need to get off of it. Now, don't click 3 stacks. Don't do it, man. There's no way. Could go Zay Jones here, but let's take the mystery box. let's take the mystery box. Roman Wilson, someone I've been trying to get more of, but it just seems like he always goes a few picks before I get a chance to swoop him. So I think we're in a good spot here with this squad. I don't end up with much Pacheco, but 8 picks after ADP with a 3 wide receiver start. I sort of like how it's turning out. Probably end up with 6 running backs, a few more receivers. I don't know if this is going to be a 3 QB team at this point. Like, I don't know who would add ceiling to this team. Like, I like JJ McCarthy, but I think we're good. I think I'd rather just take a shot on another mystery box player. Darnell Mooney. He just has the same chance to end up on one of those high prize teams as a rookie. Elijah Mitchell goes at 179. Definitely a more appropriate price for Mitchell this year. And I do think the field has it right where Algiers going off before him, just because he's shown that he can have that change of pace RB role and actually be pretty efficient in that role. And then he also has the contingent upside Bijan going down, just like Mitchell has the upside of CMC going down. But I think Algier would have a more clear role if that were to happen, right? If an injury were to occur, where Mitchell probably will be sharing carries. Zach Moss at 183. Damn. Oh, look, Ray Davis gone. Okay. Moss at 183 again. He's proved that he can fit that role if an injury occurs to the RB1. So he sort of has, I would probably rather Moss over Elijah Mitchell. I think that's why they're ranked that way. Think about it a little longer. Do we go Gus here? Let's go Gus here. Let's go Gus here. We'll mix him in. Those who see my exposures, Antonio Gibson's at the top. So we probably should chill. He's my highest owned player at 50%. So We just coin flipped him for Gus Edwards. It doesn't even feel good. I'm not proud. I'm not proud. It feels wrong. I feel dirty. But Edwards is not, he's not the worst click if he can find a similar role in Baltimore next year. He's direct leverage off of a huge Lamar rushing, 2 rushing touchdown game if he can punch 2 in on the goal line. Are we just gonna hit on every single rookie wide receiver? Oh, Ricky gone. Ew. We'll take Treylon Burks here. 15 picks after ADP. But I do like Ricky click here. This is exactly what I meant when I was like, are we just gonna hit on every single rookie on this team? Was bringing in Ricky as the 3rd receiver here. We probably should do this. I think this makes more sense. This guy's on auto, isn't he? The Mingo. Mingo takes 2 to tango. All right. We'll bring in the double with Burrow and Chase. Bring in the double. Nice. Drew just saw the message that pick'em hit. Thank you, dude. That's if you guys are into pick'ems plus EV betting, Drew is subscribed to OddsJam and he just shares all of his bets in our Discord channel, which is link is in the description. Thank you for the sub, whoever that was. Appreciate you, man. Burks goes at 197. It's worth mixing in Burks there. It really is. Like 15, 16 picks after ADP. It really is. He's another one that started the season hurt and could never really get his feet under him for the season. And he didn't look good, but you never really know a player's health. We have 3 rounds left. We're going to go at least 1 more running back, at least 1 more receiver. I know who I want the receiver to be. The Malik click is fun. This dude has not too many rookies. He's fine. Zeke, bring in the dust. Yeah. Bring in the dust as your 7th running back. Genius. Genius. Raise that floor, baby. Raise that floor. Logan bringing in A.T. Perry here. Brendan Rice off the board. All right, Frank. Cause us pain again. I'm between these 3. I am a Chris Rodriguez stan at this point. Should we be mixing in more Shipley here? Probably. Could definitely make the argument for 1 receiver, one more running back, and end up with the 2-7-8-3 build. I think that's the way we're going to go. We have another pick up in 6. I would love to get one of these. Basically one of these. I think Eric Gray is super sneaky too. Like Eric Gray is definitely a sneaky click. If you're playing that from the Giants side. I like the Fant click. If Kelsey retires and Noah Fant ends up on KC, just guessing here. Where does Fant go? If Fant goes to KC and Kelsey is gone, little exercise. Are you drafting Fant over Schultz? Let's just start there. We'll cut the board in half. Nick, welcome to the live stream, my man. If Fant's a Chief and there's no Kelsey retires, do you draft Fant over Schultz. I think it's a good starting point. Let me know in the comments. Oh shit. Give him to us. Give him to us. There's no way. Let's go. Israel Benakanda. Probably another really high prized handcuff. Before Waller. Yo, Al goes first round. You have to. Have to. Burton off the board. Okay, we got a no. We got a yes. Thoughts on Noah Gray. Before Waller. Of course. You have to. Be close. Definitely over Komet. Fant. Why not? This is fun. We're having fun, Nick. We're having fun. I'd rather cry. It sounds like you have like 2% Fant, maybe less. I would draft in my head of where Kelsey's going. I love that. That's the best answer. You win. You win. I would. When you guess, when you try to make educated guesses of where their ADPs will turn with news, he would go in this range. Depending on health of TJ Hawkinson, he could be a riser or faller from here too. I don't think it'd be the craziest thing if, let's say, you get. It wouldn't be crazy to draft him over Goddard either. Even sooner. But I do think his ADP would go in this range here. He could easily go before these receivers too. Like, I think these QBs all have to move up, which they're starting to. These receivers have to push back. The only thing that's keeping these receivers up front is this dead zone of there's just no one there. So you have to put people there. I like the Jordan click. All right. Bring in Parker Washington. Honestly, he looked better than Zay Jones when he was playing. So when I skip on Zay Jones to go Roman Wilson, it's with this in mind. People kind of forget, like, Parker Washington was an early declare. He was actually a really good recruit last year. And when he was on the field, he was pulling targets. He was pulling end zone targets too. So fun little triple stack here with Ridley, Parker, and Evan Ingram to go with Trevor Lawrence. Get the double stack with Burrow. I think it's a really well-balanced team. And we'll see where these rookies land. That's basically but like Mooney, dude, it's hard to skip on Mooney here. I have a hard time not clicking Mooney here. And it's a reason why he's one of my top exposed players, because who's to say he doesn't end up on one of these teams that you're hoping a rookie lands on? Let's cover the Pounders drafts real quick. Josh in the one spot, Purdy, Carr, and JJ McCarthy might be a little light on QB, but it's definitely workable. Kittle, Freiermuth, and Sanders. I like this triple here. CMC, Walker, Herbert, and Tony Gibson. Yeah, I think you're pretty strong at RB, especially if Gibson were to move on. You have Rodriguez there in the 2 spot, battling for touches. That's best case scenario for this build. It's a strong room. Like, you have CMC and Walker. Like, you're already pretty strong. Adams, Olave, Cooper, Dobbs, Myers, Shaheed, Tyler Lockett, and Juwan Jennings. You gotta throw another touchdown. Crazy. Just that lost me like at least $1,000. Cheese in the 2 spot. CJ Stroud, Drake May, and Michael Penix. You do have to lean into Stroud because of where you're drafting him, but I would like my second QB. Let's see if we can find a spot for him. It's tough because you probably had no one to correlate with, right? Like, maybe Prescott. Where did Prescott go? Let's take a peek. Prescott goes at 70. Ooh, right before. You couldn't do anything about it because you're not going Prescott here at 50. Damn, bro. The Prescott snipe. few picks before ADP, which isn't a big deal, but this guy, 3 stacks. You're relying basically on 3 stacks to not take your stack. But he ends up pairing it with Jake Fergie. Fergie gets there. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. All right. So you end up with May and Panics. That's fine. Cook, Warren, Singletary, Benson, Algier. Might be a little light at RB. We'll see. We'll see if you end up hitting on one of these guys. Lamb, Diggs, Tank Dell, Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah, this wide receiver room's strong. The Ricky Snipe, 20 picks before ADP. Bowers, Henry, and Fant. I like the tight end room. But our team, Burrow and Lawrence, I don't think it's crazy to bring in a third QB around like Drake May's ADP. That's probably who I would target if I'm going 3 QBs without spending too much capital. Evan Ingram, Schultz, and Mayer, which is fine amount of capital. Pacheco, Mostert, Ford, Jaleel McLaughlin, Gus Edwards, Will Shipley, and Israel Abanikanda. I think we have enough here to start 2 every week. And we're probably relying on some mix of, who's going to be the flex from week to week. Chase, Ayuk, Waddle, Ridley, Lab McConkey, Roman Wilson, and Dre, Parker Washington. Frankie in the 6th spot with A-Rich and Fields. Fields falls 11 picks. Fun combo here. Kincaid and Kmet, probably on the lower end of capital, but I still think it's fine if you're expecting Kincaid to make a big jump. And if we're expecting Chicago to get an improvement at QB, I think that's completely fine. Achane, Charbonnet. Oh, yeah. We went hero running back build around Achane. Zach Sharbs, Bucky Irving, Braylon Allen, Marshawn Lloyd, Justice Hill, Jalen Wright, Kendall Milton. I don't necessarily love bringing in this many rookies, 5 rookies, without having more stability. But yeah, you would need, let's say you hit on if you hit on 2, like I think that's a good hit rate, especially for this class. Now you could hit on 3. Let's say you hit on 3. That would save this team. And that's what likely needs to happen for running backs. JJ, Pittman, Flowers, Hopkins, Josh Downs, Zay Jones, Devontae Walker, and Jermaine Burton. I like the wide receiver group. I think that's fine. I like everything about the team besides RBs, maybe finding some stability pick here somewhere. 151. Who went in that range? $139. Yeah. Like you probably don't know you're going to go on this rookie tear, but Herbert could have helped. I think it could have helped guaranteed touches. That's all. Logan in the 9 spot with Lamar and Caleb Williams, which is a fun pairing. Njoku, Otten, Davis Allen, Gerald Everett. I do think you need 4 tight ends there. I think it's actually like pretty balanced capital where it's like these picks doesn't really matter. Bijan, Najee Harris, Zamir White, Kendra Miller, Ray Davis, and Cody. Like a lot of people are going to be missing, right? And this is where like tight ends, the battle of, okay, should we be drafting for upside? Well, this team needs tight end targets, and tight ends are pretty easy to project they're going to be on the field. So where a lot of people, maybe 7 drafters that are drafting rookies in this range are going to miss. Tight ends are just relatively safe. Bijan, Najee, Zamir White, Kendra Miller, Ray Davis, and Cody. I like the RB room. DJ Moore, Malik Neighbors, Terry McLaurin, George Pickens, Troy Franklin. Yeah, fun wide receiver room too. And he has Caleb going to Chicago with DJ Moore and Troy Franklin in Chicago. Imagine. Sorry. Too much speculation. All right, that's it for Pounders in this one. Damn. Everyone had good drafts. I really liked everyone's drafts tonight. All right, we're going to be back tomorrow. A little beer stream, 8:15 p.m., same time. If you guys enjoyed tonight's stream, please drop a like, hit the sub, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Pounders.